Hi.
We are now recording the December 29th, 2017 Small Business Accounting Advisors, the last show of the year. Hello, everyone.
Happy New Year!
So how cold is it back there, Gina?
How cold is it here?
Yeah.
Right now, it's about 17 degrees.
That's pretty cold.
I was going to complain, but I guess I better shut up.
We actually got snow on Christmas up here. We actually got about 3 inches of snow up here in Seattle at
That's
Christmas.
about the perfect amount. Not really enough to mess with you, but pretty.
Oh, it does mess with Seattle traffic, though.
Yes.
Sarah, what were you going to complain? What
That's
temperature
like
were you going to complain about?
It needs to rain here. So,
Sarah, what are your temperatures?
I was just going to go look, 'cause I swear it feels like it's 30 below.
it wouldn't feel that way to you because it's like up here it's 80.
Oh, I mean, I've got the temperature on like 70, 71, and we're all walking around with parkas and.
I know.
You know what it is well, we've redone the, what do you call that? We foamed the attic, but these old houses, especially down south, they just don't have any insulation in them.
Yeah.
And especially some of the windows that we haven't replaced yet. Like, I'm sitting here and I can feel the cold air coming in.
Absolutely.
And when we took down the sheetrock in the kitchen to redo the kitchen, the insulation was like, about 18 inches before the top of the ceiling. I mean, it was just like it had sunk or something. I don't know.
Or they ran out and didn't care.
For more of a foot around the entire house. So,
Wow.
Now in the summer since we foamed the attic, our electric bill went from $800 down to about $250.
Wow.
Wow, that's a big difference.
It's the heat. That's
Right.
when our electric bills go crazy. But we're on heat pumps. So it takes I forget how it works, but it takes the moisture out of the air or something. I don't know, but
It also runs both winter and summer, so it never really gets any rest.
yeah,
It runs forward in the summer and backwards in the winter, or vice versa.
Yeah, and if the heat pump isn't enough, then these emergency heat strips come on, and that'll affect the electric bill more, I guess.
Oh, absolutely it will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have a niece that moved into an Amish house.
No.
Yeah, I know. This is the wrong year for her to do that. All she has is a wood stove in the kitchen for cooking.
That's
I know.
calling the heat in that sucker.
So she is cold, I am sure. And I know that she has a few of those radiators, those electric radiators, but still, that's not going to help. She's going to have to close the whole house down and live in one room.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Okay, it's only 48.
Pretty darn cold for where you are.
I'm going to take that.
How
It's
about
like-
you, Brandon? What's it like in the island there in the Gulf?
Yeah, it's a heat wave at 52 right now.
Yeah.
We're at
No, we're going
45.
to 57 tomorrow. Tomorrow is sunny. See, it's been so cloudy and rainy.
Yesterday was off. I mean, the wind, it was gusting around 20, 25. Rain and low 40s.
Wow.
Sound like Seattle.
Yeah. So it feels colder to us when it's in the 30s than it does
Yeah.
to you guys. Tomorrow's going to be absolutely gorgeous.
When you start getting down into the teens and single digits, it doesn't matter. It feels cold no matter what.
Where you are.
No matter where. It's cold. I'm beginning to feel like Alaska, the last frontier.
Yeah,
Well, what's nice is it ain't gonna last long.
it's 83 here.
Oh,
Ah!
we're all coming to Linda's house. We're all going to go visit Linda.
83.
Oh, man. It's like 45 here.
What are you doing in long sleeves?
60 for the, well, now, what you have to understand, it was cold last night. It probably was in the 40s last night, but we get this huge swing.
Winds are huge.
Cold, cold, hot, hot.
Jeez.
Wow, but at least you got the hot, hot. We have no hope of even being above freezing for over a week.
Vest, a fleece vest, and it's 83 outside. Now that's crazy.
I have a fleece vest and a turtleneck.
Yeah, it's like, well, this morning it was 40.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk to Brandon. He's got some exciting things coming up that he didn't realize was going to be happening.
Yeah, who knew about Mardi Gras?
What?
So Mardi Gras is a thing. I knew it was. Yeah, but so where I'm located at, I went to the Christmas parade on the island where I live, and it was kind of packed out. But they said this is nothing compared to Mardi Gras on the island. People stake out their spots on the parade route like 2 or 3 weeks in advance because there's no place to park.
Sounds like our St. Patrick's Day.
So in downtown Mobile, where I'm at here, there are 22 parades during the Mardi Gras season that run right in front of our office and down the side of our office. And they said,
how many parades a week does that make? I mean, the season is how long?
I'll have to look it up. I don't even know.
For the month of January?
It starts on Ash Wednesday. It's Lent. It starts on Ash Wednesday. Isn't it in Mardi Gras, right before Lent?
Sarah, but you were saying starting in January, right?
What they told me was at least 2 weeks in advance, all the parking that's down here close to the underpass, every available spot will be filled up with RVs and campers. There'll be no parking whatsoever in downtown. They've already got barricades along the parade route.
Yeah.
I had no idea. They said just getting around, just trying to get to the office is going to be a nightmare. I've got parking over in a county parking garage 2 blocks over. So I park there in the parking deck and walk over. So my parking should be fine, but they say that the traffic just getting to and from downtown is craziness.
So you're going to have Amy and the kids come over and bring like a bed so they can spend the night there and they can party it up on Mardi Gras.
Well, we're talking about, so because of my membership here, I've got 2 outside decks where we can go out and watch from our office area.
Good.
And so there's going to be live bands here in our co-working space outside of business hours. So yeah, my family can come, and I've got some friends that want to come watch the parades from the balconies.
I just Googled it. So your offices is in Mobile, right?
Right. I'm on the corner of Government Street and Conception Street, right on the main parade route.
Mardi Gras is an annual carnival celebration, the oldest annual carnival celebration in the United States, started in 1703.
Jeez.
This thing goes on and
on and on.
Wow, maps.
It's got to be at least 22 days if there's 22 parades.
Okay,
and that's a parade every day.
It's February 3rd through, let's see. Nope, it actually starts January 26th. Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, then it goes into February. But I should stop on Fat Tuesday. Yep, stops on February 13th, Fat Tuesday, because then Lent starts.
That's Wednesday, it's the 14th. Yep.
There is a parade every day.
Goes for a month.
Let's see. Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, it's there's no pattern to it.
So you think you're going to get some work done, Brandon?
That's the plan. So what I was talking about before is really when I started looking into this, I've been offered corporate sponsorship for this co-working space where I'm at. So what that would look like was I would have Main Street, so Government Street and Conception Street signage on the second floor. So during all of Mardi Gras, I would have Intuit and Barron's Incorporated banners out on Government Street and Conception Street for all the parade route to see. And then on an average day, I've got nearly 20,000 cars in 24 hours goes in front of our office.
Wow. Wow.
Actually, there'll probably be a lot fewer than that when Mardi Gras is going on, because they won't be able to get in because the parade will be there.
Yeah,
Right,
but that's prime spot. Anybody that's filming or whatever, you're going to have your signage right there.
Right.
Yeah, because I know in Savannah, if you work downtown, usually everybody just closes the day of the parade. But if we it was always tax season, so if we did want to get to the office, we had to get in at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness! And then
just to make sure that we could get in the door, and then you didn't go anywhere.
Except walking distance, right?
To this day, even though we've moved the offices out to the island, I still close on St. Patrick's Day.
Aw. But Brandon would have to close 22 days.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, can't do that. If somebody would pay me to close, then yeah, this is.
I mean, that's worse than going away for a week and coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I've never had that. So in our pivot in our business model, when we went from just consulting and training to a large part of sales, it's a different business model. So advertising was never an issue for me. So I'm trying to get my arms around advertising and return on investment. And
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's what I've been sitting here doodling.
Yeah, if we average 20,000 cars a day, that's nearly 600,000 cars a month.
Yeah, a lot.
Do you have any place for signage?
Yeah, I've got a deck that's over the sidewalk that's facing the road on both sides. That I'll get prime advertising space right there on
Do they have any regulations on signage where you're at?
Not that I know of. So
But you'll want to look
Need
into
a banner.
You're gonna want to look up the city code.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an issue, but because I'm not the one actually doing it, I'm sponsoring this co-working space. Then the co-working space is actually going to be the one obligated to look into the laws and as far as what they can do and what they can't do. So
Make sure they do their due diligence.
yeah, definitely. Thanks, Steve. Speaking of co-working space.
Hi, coworker.
Yeah, that's the guy that runs this place that offered me the deal here. So Intuit just sent me a package.
Oh, awesome. Fun stuff?
Swag.
It's a box. I hope it's fun stuff.
Well, if it's big enough to be a package, doesn't sound like pieces of paper.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't have to sign for it.
I got a big box from Q-Box.
Oh, nice. Well, didn't you win something, Sarah?
Yeah, I think they have new T-shirts that are black, which I like much better than the white ones.
They're
I'm gonna have
nice.
to ask. I didn't get one.
I've got several of them. I love the new T-shirts.
Yeah, the new ones are good looking, but they're not T-sheet soft.
I'm gonna have to ask for new ones. I do have one.
Yeah, T-sheets are the best. Oh my gosh. I hope they don't change manufacturers on those things.
I know the T-sheet ones are soft and so comfortable.
It's like Egyptian cotton or something.
Yeah.
I got something from T-Sheets the other day.
Oh, you got
see-
the heart. Yeah.
Where'd you get?
Heart.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like a,
stress thing.
Stress relief.
I have a little pig that I squeeze.
and then like a box of looks like candy, but it looks like potatoes.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That is because you are going to be having a brain sprain.
Yeah.
very soon, trying to figure out all this stuff. Come on, Brandon, anticipation.
Lee,
Can't get in the box.
you must be hell at Christmas.
I may have just broke it.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! What'd you do?
I doubt it.
Somebody packed that well.
Honestly, really.
What? What is it?
Oh,
It's
it's
glass.
Won a prize.
Yeah.
Award.
It's bittersweet. We maintain the $100,000 club.
Yeah.
I wanted to go bigger, but
Great.
You have to tell us. It's hard to say.
so it's the FY17 $100,000 club achiever.
Congratulations.
Next year we're doing $1 million.
Really? Because don't we have to be like at least 250, right?
Yes.
All right.
So we're going for $1 million.
Very good.
I'm putting this down for $1 million. That the advertising is going to put us over the top, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Nice. Thank you for that. That was kind of fun.
Very nice.
And on to a not fun subject. Dennis. Dennis told me he had a brain sprain.
I was talking about the new 20% deduction for the C corps and the S corps and the partnerships, and also for apparently for Schedule Cs and I guess Schedule Es.
Yeah.
The catch is that the instructions are so insanely complicated that I put a link in the chat, and like I was telling Gina, it might as well have been in Latin for all I had got out of it, you know.
Man.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll put it up when I post our on our group.
So I'm hoping the tax software next year will have nice worksheets and flow through charts and all that kind of stuff to try to figure this thing out, because it's
I don't understand the entertainment thing.
well, now you can't take people to football games and that kind of stuff.
Well, how about we're at conventions, and that's where we do some of our best businesses, like, T-Sheet sponsors the cocktail party in the evening. That stuff's going to go away?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, it seems like the meals are still around, but it was, they specifically referenced like football tickets and that kind of stuff.
Well, those have been a pain, because like I have a client that bought season tickets, and I said, you can't write this off unless you keep a log of what tickets you gave to what clients and what you were doing, and did you have business before. You can't do business during the game, so did you have business directly before or after? And if you're not going to keep this log and all that, it's going right to distributions. It was $2,500 in tickets.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't prove business use on that. So something like that I understand, but when they say entertainment, I'm talking about marketing, entertainment, and
I still think they're writing the rules. I don't think that everybody's, as they get into it, I mean, it's like a 500-page tax,
It is.
act. And so trying to figure out the ramifications on that is like, I'm sure there's going to be unanticipated consequences too that, got stuck in there. And I'm sure there's people trying to game the system already,
Right.
But I noticed that you can't write off the interest on your equity loans now, starting in 2018. And I saw that people were trying to.
Well, that makes sense, because I mean, if you use your equity line to buy stuff, why should you get a tax write-off?
I think if you still use it for like remodeling, you can still use it.
Yeah, now that to me is sort of like mortgage interest, I think.
Yeah.
But in general, when you're doing a home equity loan, you're doing a high dollar loan.
Yeah, I like putting in a $30,000 ACE or heat and an air system.
Yeah.
Right. Or major appliances, or
as opposed to a trip to Disneyland or something like that.
Right.
And I guess the itemized deductions, 2% itemized deductions are going away also. Like job hunting expenses and I guess like, people used to get bus passes from their companies now, and the companies would get a tax deduction on that.
That hit on my northern clients.
That's gone away.
The ones that are in cities, they give it as a perk.
Yeah.
And even the cyclists.
Yeah.
You know.
So, Linda, do you have people in California signing up trying to pay their 2018 taxes early?
But you can unless it's already been assessed.
Right.
Maybe their property taxes. They may pay their property taxes early, but I don't think it'll help them. What I've put on, people say, well, I'm going to make a donation to MS. I said, will that save? I said, well, you want to ask your tax preparer, because if it depends on how large your donation is. If you're making a $50 donation, that's not going to affect a lot. Right. I said, do you itemize your deductions? If you do, maybe it'll make a difference. But if you don't itemize your deductions, it doesn't make any difference anyway.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I went to buy some software today. I'm trying to move everything into 18, mainly because I've done so much developmental stuff.
Sure.
In 17, I don't need any more write-off. But they said, if it's something you're going to buy anyway,
right?
Don't you want to buy it in December because you'll get a better bang for your buck with the higher tax rate in 17 than 18?
Yeah.
I thought, I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah. They're saying you want to move the expenses into 17 and the income into 18.
Yeah.
Because of the differential in the rates.
As long as your credit card charge is hitting before the 1st, that's same as cash.
Yeah, that's same as cash.
Yeah. It has to show with that date.
I guess the alimony is no longer going to be a deduction or income. So.
Well, but that doesn't start till 2019, 1/1/2019.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that means that it's going to affect all the negotiations during 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Divorced in 2018, because it'll be a result there.
Well, why did they take that away? Because that's pretty much a wash, isn't it? Well, I guess it depends on each person's tax rate. But
usually the person getting paid the support has much lower income than the person giving the support.
Right.
The person giving the support would be taxed.
So that's going to help all the poor ladies that are getting dumped in their 50s.
Got it. That was one of the things that was included that I understood. Some of the stuff the guy said I understood. Some I did not at all. So.
Entertainment was the big one that made me go, what?
From what I saw, since, you're losing, you're getting a higher standard, but you're losing your exemptions. I get, but the way we're going to come out whole, if you've got enough kids to get bigger tax credits, that might sort of offset but I think I was telling you last week that this one client I had, difference like about $9,000. So unless she gets to offset that extra income with bigger tax credits, for kids, then I don't know what's going to be. But I don't think anybody really knows until they go through a couple of tax returns to really see all the ramifications, because you hear bits and pieces, but it's not something really. I haven't seen any comprehensive examples yet of, how this is going to affect
anything. And what happens if you seriously underpay? Are they going to hit you with that penalty? Oh my gosh.
Well, you know what? And it's the same thing when the health plan came out. When there was a big uproar about certain things, it took a while, but things would get. Remember the 1099 thing where we had to do a 1099 for everybody?
Yeah.
And I thought,
Office Depot.
Yeah, and I told my clients, I said, look, I have to tell you what the law says now.
Right.
But I'm telling you outside of that there is no way this is going to fly.
That's right.
So it's your risk, but I'm telling you personally, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing 1099s to corporations and gas stations and Walmart. I'm not doing it. Okay. And sure enough, it took a while, but once they start seeing the ramifications of these decisions, there are mechanisms to, depending on how loud the uproar is, to
I would think
I mean, look at the health savings plan with the reimbursables for healthcare.
Right.
Now that took about what, two years.
Yep.
well, I would think in the first quarter there's gonna be a lot of screaming when people start figuring out
Yeah.
the consequences. There'll probably be some technical corrections,
Yeah.
that before it actually impacts you in 2019.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean. I'm not going to get all too verklempt with it, but
Yeah, it's not the last minute.
and they sure as heck don't have the auditors lined up to go after people.
No,
Well, there's that too.
they'll have to retrain the auditors who are overwhelmed as
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right. But the poor unfortunate people that do get picked on,
Yeah,
you
doesn't
know.
do you much good that you had small odds. If you get picked, you're kind of screwed.
Mhm.
Right, exactly. Well, what they're doing around here now is we have awful local taxes.
Like more than 10,000 a year? I thought that was pretty high.
Well, the local taxes around here started out at like 0.5%. Now there are localities that have gone up to 1.5%.
Are you talking about state taxes or property taxes?
No, I'm talking local, not state, local to the, okay, so you have federal, you have state, and we have local.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Are you
The city you live in, the borough you live in, the township,
you have local income taxes or local sales tax?
local income
Yeah,
taxes.
both.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's right. I did a Pennsylvania payroll before.
And
Oh,
they're
man.
crazy. There's so many of them that they finally did unify them and put them into one place. But they're still, it's very difficult to find out what your, are you a 0.5%? Are you a 1%? Well, one of the localities, I know it is. It's very difficult. One of the localities has gone from 1.5% to 3%. They added an additional percent for local firehouses and emergency services. Around here, that's always been traditionally handled by volunteers, almost like a social group. People would be a volunteer firefighter or an EMT. They would belong to the local firehouses, and the women would belong to the auxiliary. And the auxiliary has gone from ladies auxiliary to just auxiliary now, and it's encompassing men and women. And the firehouse, the volunteers, instead of being the men being the volunteers, it is men and women. But the number of volunteers has dropped so drastically that they're saying that it's leaving holes in the area. Our population is growing exponentially, and there's no one to help these people with these emergency services. So now they're putting local taxes on it. The local taxes have gone, in some case, from 0.5% up to 3%.
That's amazing.
That is amazing, and nobody's saying anything about it. And at the same time, you now have a limit on the taxes that you can deduct, because that gets lumped in with the sales tax, the real estate tax, and all of that, state income
They're
tax.
saying you can deduct either property tax and income tax or property tax and sales tax, but you can't deduct all three.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the thing I read.
Well, what I see on the 2017, trying to take it early, is that they would have had to have been assessed. So if the taxes have not been assessed, and a lot of states don't assess the taxes till January or February, because I know like here in Washington, the bills come out for April and October is when you make your payments. And so if it hasn't been assessed, then they would just return your check to you, so it wouldn't do you any good.
People are actually going to the offices and demanding that they be assessed.
Well, different municipalities do it differently. I mean,
Yeah.
We were assessed for 18. Well, I don't know. It depends.
The property tax bills here, although I don't get one, they come out December. And it has to be paid half December 10th and the other half has to be paid by April 10th, but you can pay it all in December.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay,
so you don't
you're
have
covered.
that problem.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
guys
well,
will be
the reason
covered.
why is because our government budgets go July 1st to June 30th.
Yeah.
It's in the same tax year for the governments.
See, I'll get in this. Well, I don't even know when the assessments come out, but they're due June and November.
So, but if they come out in November and they're due for November and June, that's one thing. But if they come out in June and they're due for June and November, that's a different thing. So.
Yeah, no, my 18 assessment will come out soon, and then the first half is due June, second half is due.
Well, you can, on your casualty loss with your power stuff that blew up on you 2 times,
Yeah,
carry that over to a following year if you can't take all of it.
I don't have my insurance.
Well, I
covered.
guess aren't they getting rid of that unless it's a federal disaster area?
We are in a federal disaster area.
Oh, okay.
But my insurance covered it, so I really didn't have any.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize the insurance covered it twice.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I know when I damaged 2 cars, I had 2 car accidents.
Yeah. Now,
Each other.
property and stuff like that was covered. You know, I have the deductibles now, and all this tree work, thousands and thousands of dollars of tree work. I don't think I can take that anywhere.
No, I don't think you can.
It was a rough year. I'm sort of glad it's over. It did go pretty quickly.
Mm.
They're all going pretty quickly now.
Yeah, I know.
That's a fact.
I saw this one T-shirt says, "I thought getting old would take a lot longer." You seen that?
No, here we are.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, 2018 is sneaking up on me. Speaking of which, I'll tell you can I change gears?
You're fading, Sarah. It's hard to hear you.
Oh, well, I've turned around, sorry. I was hoping to get my major rewrite of my TBX program out before QB Connect, and of course, best laid plans. That didn't happen. And we're close. We're so close. So I was talking to my programmer today, and he's like, "You need to sell." See, I'm not marketing minded. He's saying, "Why don't you just start blasting out that if you buy the version that's up there now, and you'll get this is." See, I'm not going to give free upgrades anymore once we go to 6. So be the last free upgrade for 5, which will be out hopefully in the next week or 2. And then they get a free upgrade to 6. And I'm trying to get people to sign up as affiliates and stuff like that. So start gearing up to do that while I'm testing 6, because it's going to take me probably all weekend.
Sure.
Because I need to test it in like 2000, what?
So do you have the
15,
infrastructure
16,
to track
17,
all these sales?
Do what?
So Sarah,
Yeah.
do you have the infrastructure to track your sales now?
Oh, do I have what?
The program to track your sales in case it really takes off?
Oh, yeah, finally. And I set up the affiliate program, and I'll give you guys a link. So, and then it walks you through making things for your website and, to track the links. And so what we're going to do this time is so since 2004, it was $100 for this little program. But people were putting it on terminal servers and using it for whole CPA firms for $100. And I didn't have any way to prevent that.
Right.
So that was the first thing we did is we went in and we're completely changing how we do the licensing. So it's more like TPI, how you load it on a machine, you have to register the license.
Right.
And then when my programmer got in there, he pretty much ended up ripping all the code out and starting all over. So it's a lot more stable. but I've sunk a lot of money in it. So now I'm going to have a PC version and a terminal server version.
Got it.
And I'm going to reach out to all my existing clients first and go, okay, your last chance to move up a version. And I'm just going to have to handle them one at a time when I find out the ones that have been, bought one version, they're using it for 20 people.
Right.
So.
Well, speaking of TPI, Karen put out our TPI demo that we did in 2014.
14.
Oh, yeah.
Good grief.
Hangout days. Those were hangout days. And I rewatched it, and you know what? I saw the technical difficulties that we had.
Oh, man.
I do miss the lower third.
I do miss the lower third. I do miss that. But I don't miss the technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
Karen was trying to do demo, and her pop-ups weren't being shared.
Right.
So she was thinking she was sharing her screen, and we're just looking at a static screen.
I always felt like I was on a scavenger hunt to try to figure out how to log in each week. It seemed like it changed every week.
I don't even know if I would know how to do a live hangout anymore.
Yeah, sort of flushed it from my memory.
We tried it just recently with somebody, and it wasn't any better. You think after all this time?
Well, is Google doing anything with the Google Plus? I mean, it seems like you never hear about it anymore.
Nah.
I still do go on because nobody else did. I don't know why, but I'm used to going it alone, not going down the regular path everyone else goes down.
You don't drink Kool-Aid? Drink the Kool-Aid one.
I could never figure it out.
Shiny.
Right. But I liked Google Plus. I did. I thought that
I didn't.
I could never figure it out.
I couldn't figure it out.
Then we'll say Facebook.
Yeah.
When it first opened up, there were a lot of guys on it. And the first thing that when they opened it and made it public and the girls came on, the first thing that they did was Catterday. Instead of Saturday, it became Catterday, and there were all kinds of posts of cats and stuff like that. After that happened, I know, right? Well, the guy said, well, if you guys can do Catterday, we're doing Boober Day.
Oh, my God.
And so it was Boober Tuesday.
Boober Tuesday.
And then the developers came out and said, come on, guys, calm down. This is a public, forum. Really don't want to go there. But there were a lot of scientists that came out that were doing Google Plus. A lot of astronomers. I actually got to go into the Large Hadron Collider inside with the scientists, which was just like mind-blowing to me. I would never have been able to see that any other way. But people just didn't take to it. They liked their Facebook better. They liked their Instagram better. So
yeah, once you get used to doing something, it gets harder and harder to change it.
I guess. But I enjoyed Google Plus, and I still do go back and check out the things, and I still see the same, like it had its own little superstars, and I see the same people doing the same things. They're still in there doing it. But yeah, it'll never be a Facebook. It'll never be an Instagram.
Well, here's the thing. I started with all the social media with like LinkedIn. And I would spend hours like helping people and answering questions and getting answers. And it just felt like I was part of a large company instead of just little me, when I had a problem.
Oh, absolutely.
And and that's what got me hooked on the whole networking thing and meeting people. And then they changed all their algorithms or something, and that sort of fell apart. And then we sort of started duplicating that idea over in Facebook with these groups of ours.
Yes.
The problem is, because they're not designed as forums, you can't there is limited searching capability, but how many times you go in, it's the same questions over and over and over.
Or you know that you saw the answer a month ago.
You can't find it.
Try and find it.
Is that Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't figure it out either. I mean, I can't figure out any of this stuff. I mean, it's kind of getting kind of putts around it.
You know, if you're going to chit chat and with family, that's one thing. But some of these board, like Hector and Michelle's, QuickBooks page, has thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and it isn't just QuickBooks. People are coming in with bookkeeping questions and tax questions and marketing questions.
And there's all levels of people.
Oh, and then, we've got input clerks to CPAs and auditors. So there's nowhere to like even with the LinkedIn, you could go see what their credentials are or something. But in other forums, like if you go to my NSA, National Association, how's it go? National something of accountants.
National Society of Accountants.
Yeah, and their tax forum is stellar.
Yeah, so I belong to NSA.
That's the only reason I joined, so I can have access to that forum. And but that forum is designed as a forum. You can see somebody's credentials. You can see what their ratings are. You know. So I wish Facebook, if that's where everybody's hanging out, I wish they would wise up.
Yeah.
Because you get anybody acting like an expert when they're really not. And that was where I was going with that.
Yeah.
You know, you have all different levels of people. So one question, which would seem very simple, could be answered in many, many different ways.
Yeah.
So one person would answer it, and then another person would come back and say, oh, you're stupid.
Yeah, or you're wrong. Well, one lady went off on me yesterday. You know what? I was in such a mood that two things are wrong with Facebook. And one is it's linked to your personal Facebook. And I have over 60 requests to be people's friends. And unless we've really become friends, I'm not clicking on it. But the other thing is, so what I did was I belong to so many groups that I just went in yesterday and I just turned off the notifications. At least to get me through January, because I might leave on the QuickBooks one, but I forget that, like in our group, you guys know I'm a cut up, you know, and I'll make cute little thing, you know, and there are people that don't understand they takes everything so literal.
And that's what Linda was saying earlier. There are so many misinterpretations.
Oh my gosh.
Of what you're saying.
If you're just talking about chats or messages, I mean, it's just one dimensional. There's no
there's no tone of voice. There's no seeing my face. There's
it's not nuanced at all. It's just one, and it's easy. Given the person's mindset, they may take it one way one day, and they may take another way the next day.
And even if you explain it, they're still ugly.
And I know that there are posts that I've put out there, and I read it later, and I say, "Oh my gosh, that is not what I meant to say."
True.
Yeah.
So what I think I'm saying and what I'm saying could be two different things, and not on purpose.
Right.
Absolutely.
But what's new? What seems to be new is, and this is a recent thing. If somebody asks a question, first of all, I'll probably ask 5 more questions before I'll answer because, it depends, So if somebody answers a question, I might be in the middle of typing an answer. And by the time I hit post, somebody else has answered it.
Right.
And there are people who are getting nasty about that. Well, that's already been answered. So-and-so already answered it. And I'm like, no. And a couple of people have come back and said, no. First of all, you're asking a question to an invisible face on the internet.
Right.
And if I see multiple answers that are the same, it's going to give it
more credibility.
Right.
Whereas somebody will answer a question, and if somebody else answers it just like them, I already answered that. And you know what? Maybe it's just the season and my tiredness, but I don't have the patience with that petty little foolishness anymore. And now that our groups are getting so large, I'm seeing more and more of that, and I'm just, I don't know. Usually I ignore it, but what the lady yesterday was too much.
Yeah, I think I'm going to clean out my groups. And that was the reason why I have 2 Facebook groups, because they do 2 very different things. On a personal level, I love the pictures that I see of the nieces, the grandchildren, the
girlfriends
that I don't normally have interaction with. I can actually watch their children grow up. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't accept all friend requests in that area. My mindset is I'm dealing with family and I want to protect them. So I'm not going to share to public things that, unless they want it shared to public.
Right. But
So
see, we can have a business page, but
that's why I have a business profile, or what I consider a business profile.
Right.
Which unless they're a stalker, unless seem like they're spam, and I do get a lot of them, and I do look at all requests, I'll pretty much, friend anybody on my business profile.
Do you have 2 Facebook names?
Actually, no, it's 1 Facebook name, but 2 email addresses. And
okay. So it's 2 Facebook accounts with 2 different
attached
email addresses with the same name, and you know which one's business and which one's family.
Right.
That's what I should have done like years ago.
And people gave me so much flack for that. So much. I've had people flat out telling me, you're stupid for doing that.
No. If you're technically not supposed to do that, except that's really the only way to separate your professional Facebook conversations from your personal.
Absolutely.
I never noticed you had to.
I think at one time, Sarah, you were friends on both, and I think you took away my personal because you were getting confused. I know a lot of people do. That's the problem. People get confused if I have friends on both personal and business.
Or I thought it was spam. You know how people will spam?
Right.
Tend to be, and I'll go,
Right.
Well,
and another reason was I did not want to spam my friends.
Yeah.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Things that my business acquaintance would like, my friends would have no interest in, 0 interest in.
Is there anything that's different between the 2? Oh, one has roses and one has you on a hangout.
Right.
Oh, I'm not friends with the roses. Okay, that makes sense because it's your personal. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I get it.
Exactly.
See, I don't want to hesitate. Say I want to do, post a prayer on Christmas Day. I have to stop and go, wait a minute.
Which one am I on?
Right.
Well, first of all, if you know me, I'm, so I don't know. I don't want to hesitate to just be me.
Got it. I hear you on that. But you could post it on either one, probably.
Right. On my personal, I don't hesitate so much to be me.
Right.
But I'm not open to the public as I am on my personal.
Right.
On my business. On my business, I'm public, and I realize and I think about, do I want the world to see this? I won't post anything unless it can be thrown back at me, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So now the problem is I've got years and years and years of history with one Facebook name. I don't know. It would be weird to start a new one.
I considered that a while back, and I'm. It's not that I'm opinionated. I have certain beliefs.
Yeah.
values that I'm not going to go back on. If people don't like it, we can be friends and still have
they can drop me.
different
Yeah.
opinions. Take it or leave it. If you don't want to be my friend, I mean, that's fine. Well, I've got friends in the Intuit QuickBooks world. We have totally separate values, and that's fine.
Yeah. It's a respect thing. As long as you have the respect.
Absolutely. Well, there's that too. I think everybody should have more respect for everybody else, personal and business, period.
Yeah.
I think they're wrong. They think I'm wrong. That's fine. We can still be friends.
We can still be friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But there's a right way of expressing that opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
The wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes with, well, I don't guess it really comes with running your own business. You got to have a good head on your shoulders. Not everybody does. Common sense is in short supply these days.
It's the common sense that makes me crazy. The lack of common sense.
It is in short supply, and it makes me crazy.
You can't teach it.
No,
Absolutely.
you can't.
I got an argument. Hey, we've got some friends staying with us, and we got an argument. He says, you can teach somebody anything. And I'm like, no. There's a certain part of the brain. And I'm telling you, I can sit down with somebody. They were talking about like being like drawing. Okay.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
sorry. If you don't have that talent in your brain, you are not. I can copy. I can follow your instructions and copy, but I'm not going to be able to look at something and draw it.
Right. And that's the same for numbers on the other side of the brain.
Yeah.
Some people simply do not have it. It comes hard for them.
Well, my background is 12 years in EMS, and the old phrase, you can't fix stupid.
Can't fix stupid.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Some people will never learn, and it doesn't matter how many times you pick them up. Doesn't matter how many times you explain it. Doesn't matter how many times you say you can't commingle funds. You can't do that in bookkeeping. You can't do that in a car or on a motorcycle. So they keep doing it.
Exactly.
W-9s and
They do
1099s.
it, and the bad thing happens. It's
And
like
it's your fault.
the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it doesn't really register. So
I have a
So-
lot of patience with new clients and all, but I've got clients that I've had for 20 years. And if I have to explain what a W-9 is one more time, I'm going to scream. No, you can't be an individual with Joe Blow Landscaping LLC. Their mama didn't name them that when they were born. Oh, yeah.
I was talking to somebody just Tuesday, and they were an LLC, and I said, well, that's fine, but that doesn't tell me what tax form you use when you file taxes. Oh, I think I'm an S corp. Oh, okay. Do you know the tax? What tax form do you use? No, I just didn't. And she's an accountant bookkeeper. Okay?
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
She went home. She looked at it. She doesn't do taxes though. Okay,
Right.
she just does
still.
bookkeeping accounting. So it turns out she had filed Schedule C last year because she had intended to elect S corp and had not.
Yeah, wishing something doesn't make it true.
That's right. That's right.
And I just said to her, I said, this is something that everybody does. And it's important we understand that. And people say, oh, I'm an LLC, and they think that means something. I said, that means a state thing.
Yeah.
Was it you, Sarah, that posted that an LLC is a state?
Yes. You know why? I was watching a video of a tax person who had a whiteboard, and he was lining up the new tax code with 3 pretend companies, like a C corp, pass-through companies, S corp, Schedule C and all that, and then showing the 20% and all this, and he kept saying LLC, he kept saying LLC or part or LLC or something, and I'm like, stop, because and then if you're looking at the chat, well, what's the tax difference between an LLC and an S corp? What's the tax difference between an LLC and I'm like, Stop.
He doesn't tell you anything.
He confused everybody because he kept referencing an LLC instead of he's talking about a federal tax, but he's not talking about their federal status. And so that's when I posted that. It's just like,
Yeah. So right. LLC is on the state level. Federal taxes, you are a business or an individual.
Yeah.
so I don't know. Now, I was going to ask Dennis this. I saw something else that
Okay.
said, what's the difference between an LLC as an S Corp and an S Corp? And I'm thinking.
My understanding is that the S Corp rule, I mean, that you don't necessarily have the, I'm not an attorney, so this is just what I've heard, is that you're not guided by the rules of an S Corp in terms of having, the formalities of being a, keeping stock certificates and meetings and that. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what somebody posted, that if you get in an audit and the auditor says, I want to see your stock certificate, that would be a difference. And I'm like, I've been an S Corp for, I don't know, 1980.
I mean, there's basically two ways to become an S Corp, either from an LLC or from a C Corp.
Yeah, I went from sole proprietorship right to an S Corp, but I don't have a stock certificate.
Right.
I don't have a stock certificate. It's me.
I mean, like, for example, in the state of Washington, you can either become an LLC or you become a C Corp, and then you make the election to become an S Corp with the IRS.
Yeah, this is back in the old days before LLCs came out. So, but
yeah, I mean, effectively,
I don't have a stock certificate.
Yeah.
What would I do? Go draw one real quick?
Well, I'd say I'm governed by the rules of the LLC. I'm not governed by the rules of a C corporation.
No, he was saying that if an LLC filing as an S Corp gets audited, is different than an S Corp getting audited.
Right.
And if an S Corp gets audited, they could demand your stock certificate.
Well, an S Corp, I mean, you can't become an S Corp. You have to either be a C Corp or an LLC and then convert to an S Corp.
This is back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I converted from a sole proprietor to an S Corp before these LLCs even came out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they came out starting back in the late 70s in different states, and then they kind of spread. I mean, they kind of gave you the same protection as a S Corp without all the complications.
Right.
I skipped over being a C. I never was a C. I was, maybe I'm like a C and then requested it.
Well, usually what happens is you go at a state level, you go on and file articles of incorporation, which is a C Corp, and then you make the election. Like I say, I don't believe you can become an S. I don't believe you can become an S Corp directly. I think you either go from an LLC or a C to the S Corp election.
But I remember the attorney saying, for a couple $100, you can get this 3-ring binder with your, and I went, I said, what would I ever use it for? I didn't order the thing.
Right.
I had the 3-ring binder and the embosser. Yeah. I think there's a stock certificate blank on the back of that binder, but not when I did my accounting. That's weird.
I guess they've changed the rules and making it easier to make an election to become an S Corp now, late elections. Yeah. I was on a webinar that said that now you just fill, I think it's like a separate form where you don't have to come up with all these BS excuses as to why you didn't file 2 years ago to become an S Corp.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. So,
All right.
We have to keep up with if we're going to be in this business, we have to keep up with as much as we can.
Right.
Even though we don't do taxes, we still.
Well, I'm finding that focusing on taxes, it's really hard keeping up with QuickBooks and Xero. I mean, I kind of keep my toe in the water, but I don't really do QuickBooks anymore other than for my tax clients,
Yeah, so, well, everybody have big plans for the weekend?
Well, that was how I was going to end. What is our New Year resolution? What are we going to focus on in 2018? I am going to clean up my list. List by meaning Facebook groups, my Dropbox files, which has grown so exponentially. and any kind of, things that seem to have like taken on their own identity and have grown.
How about your contact list? Mine has like 5 of everybody in it.
Yes.
All the changes and devices and stuff that thing's so corrupt.
Yep, exactly.
I'm moving to Google Calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
And I have been working on my ACT database now for 2 years to clean it up. I've taken it from about 3,500 contacts down to, I think I have it down to 1,500, but I want it under 1,000. It's like in the beginning when I first did this, everybody said you have to have a list. It needs to be the biggest list it can possibly be. And I find that counterproductive. I find
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
And people would say, you have how many people on your list? And I'd go 3,500. And then I'd say, like, well, I've been alive a long time.
That's a good answer.
So anyway, I'm getting it under 1,000, and I think I can get that done this weekend, and then send them all to Google and have everybody on Google Calendar and get everything set up with that. So
awesome. Dennis?
I'm going out tonight. My daughter is taking me out to dinner and then to a paint night where we're going to paint a pair of champagne.
Oh, that'll be fun. I've done that.
And
with pictures.
it's for my birthday, because my birthday's next week. I'll be 73. So
73? Seriously?
I know. Isn't that hard to believe?
It's hard to believe. I know.
Early happy birthday, Linda.
Early happy
Only
birthday.
at that age.
Dennis, what are you going to do?
Probably my annual resolution to keep my desk clean, which I know I'm going to fail on day one. So,
Sarah?
No, I don't make resolutions because then I just break.
yeah.
I've already started. I was so bad through Thanksgiving and Christmas that 2 days ago I went back on the no sugar, no grain.
Oh my gosh, it's been so hard for me this year.
Well, now I'm in the withdrawal phase, but and then they're in there. They're planning all this stuff for New Year's and hot chocolate with marshmallows, and I'm like, oh,
I know.
I should have started on the 1st. But work-wise, I've got to finish things. I have too many things that are not finished.
Too many irons in the fire, huh?
Yeah, too much.
I think we all just need to focus more on narrow the focus rather than trying to cover the waterfront.
I think you're right. I think that's going to be my 2018. Is I am so fragmented.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it, right?
Just zoom it back in and really be protective of my time.
Absolutely.
And getting off a lot of those Facebook pages is part of that plan.
Yep.
See, it appeals to my nature, my helpful nature. When somebody needs you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's just part of my
good to be able to help. Yes.
Compulsion. So I need to pick one group, and then if you guys see me on some other groups, fuss.
I guess another thing for me is try to put more separation between my clients' problems and my reaction, because with some of the people that get in such amazing difficulty with the IRS, it's like hard not to feel bad for them, but on the other hand, you got to get paid. And if I've got one client I'm thinking about, revoking my POA because he's not paying me, and I know he's going to, but I can't afford to be doing involuntary pro bono work either. So
yeah,
right,
yeah, be a nonprofit accountant.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine.
Brandon, are you with us, or are you up on the phone with someone else?
Can he hear, or we can't hear him, but he's not muted.
Brandon, hello.
All righty. Well, I think I'm going to end for tonight.
Okay.
So see y'all next year. Have a safe and happy New Year.
Next year.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.